So if you say you have to trust the truth because you're not experiencing it, you're lying. If you weren't experiencing, you wouldn't be talking to me. You see what I'm saying? So don't lie about it. Lying comes from thinking about it. And when the thinking's different from the experience, we believe the thinking because everybody else does, so that must be the way to go. Right? Well, watch the news if you think that's the way to go.
You can't understand the real truth. Wow.
You don't have to. You can't know reality, and you can't know yourself. See, that's what you then think you have to have faith about. But why do you have to know something that you're being? Why do you have to know something that you're being? What is there any more direct way of knowing something than being it? No. That's why we're practicing meditation, so you can slow down and relax and calm the mind, so you can notice being. So you can notice the obvious, that awareness is the obvious. Without it, this is over. Right? It's the obvious. We call that awareness not a thing, nothing. We call that awareness empty because it has no form. And we're saying that we're practicing meditation, we're practicing learning about the truth so we can experience the freedom that's available when we're experiencing what we actually are, which is not a thing, not a body, not a personality, not a self. When you move your attention away from thinking, right, and you're being aware of the body, you're one step away from the absolute truth. You're one step away, because if you're being aware of the body, the awareness that's being aware of the body is the truth. It's real. When you're experiencing being aware of the body, that awareness is actually happening. It's actually real, right? So you're actually being what you are, aware of the body breathing. And obviously, if you're aware of the body breathing and you're being the awareness aware of the body breathing, you're not the body. You're not the body any more than you're anything else that you look at. Yeah. And when you get down to the bottom line of no thing, nothing, empty, right, awareness itself, if you take that next step, when you're aware of the body breathing, if you take that next step and you notice, oh, that awareness that's aware of the body breathing is me. I am awareness, aware of the body breathing. I am awareness without being aware of anything. I am awareness. I am aware of awareness itself, and that awareness is aware of the body breathing, and I am that awareness. This is direct experience of the reality of what you are. And it is not a self. It is not a personality. It is not an individual. It has no form. It has no shape. It's not separate from anything. It doesn't have parts to it, does it? No, so you're not familiar with this yet, so your conceptualization of it is going to be a little confusing. But that's okay. If you keep paying attention to it over time, gradually it will start to become apparent that you are this awareness even when thinking is occurring. And so if we want to experience the freedom that's available when I'm being what I am as awareness, which means I have no form, right? I have no form, I wasn't born, I'm not going to die, nothing's happening to me because nothing's happening. It's just emptiness, it's just being. I can't say what this is. It's real. It's comfortable. It's satisfying. It's peaceful. It's empty. If I could be in this experience consistently, I would be happy because there's happiness here. As soon as I start thinking, I go back into the world that I was in before I started to experience this awareness of the body breathing. So now the question is, how can I have this experience in the world? How can I have this experience when I am playing the game of being the body? How can I have this experience consistently when I'm in the world in playing the game of time and space, when I'm in the world playing the game of being a personality in relationship to the other personalities? How can I have this experience? Because this experience brings me happiness, and so I don't have to keep pursuing it in the time-space world. Well, what has to happen is you have to come to the experience of the emptiness as it is related to the form. Come to the experience of the emptiness as it is related to the form. We know, if we look at this from a vibrational understanding, all right, that if we slow the vibration down, the vibration of life is an up-down vibration, isn't it? And that vibration, when we're in our normal state of consciousness, is a very fast vibration, isn't it? Yeah, and in that fast vibration, we see form. But if we start to slow the arc down through relaxing the body and calming the mind, and we start to experience what a slower vibration is like, we can get to a point where we're in form, and then we pay attention to the body breathing, and we experience the emptiness. And then thoughts come back, and there's form, and then we bring the attention back to the belly breathing, and it goes back to emptiness, and then there's form. So you see the possibility of balance? If you slow it down, right, if you slow it down, then the emptiness that's always there but unseen or experienced because of the frequency of the vibration, because of the frequency of vibration. Slow the vibration down, and we begin to become aware of the emptiness that exists between the thoughts. It has to be there. There cannot be just thoughts, and no emptiness. There has to be the absence of something for there to be the presence of something. Yes? So there has to be no thinking in order for thinking to exist. But we don't experience the no thinking, even though it's there, right? There's spaces between your thoughts, aren't there? Yeah. But we don't experience that because we go from one thought to the next, don't we? We skip over the emptiness. We go from one thought to the next. So if you slow down and we begin to wake up and we begin to be more aware of the vibration, and because we're more aware of the vibration, we now begin to experience the absence of thought and then thought, and the absence of thought and then thought. And at some point, it becomes apparent to us that this lower aspect of the curve, right, is always there. It's our attention that's going to it and then going back up to form. Our attention is going to it and then going back up to form. That's what we're doing in meditation. Our attention is going to the always existing awareness, which is formless, and then our attention goes back to thought and we're back in form again, right? So if we can get our everyday, moment-to-moment, ordinary experience to be one in which we're experiencing the full movement to emptiness and form, there'll be a balance between the two. Without the balance, all you have is form, right? Gets tiring, it gets stressful, right? More form. All I see is form. And so in the world of form, I'm trying to make this work, but I only have half the truth. I'm trying to make the world of form work, but I only have half the truth. Right? I can't make that work. I can't make this change enough to get it to be this. That's what people are doing. They're trying to make what's happening in the world of form. I'm trying to figure it out, trying to get it right, trying to get it to change enough so I could experience being happy, satisfied, and peaceful. But that's never available while you're thinking. Never, because you're half-assed. You're in a half-ass of your experience. So you've got to get the other side of it to show up. You've got to get the awareness to show up. And if you start to have the awareness show up and you understand through the teachings that while we're only paying attention to it briefly and then we go back to form, it's always there. So now if we begin practicing resting as awareness as much as possible for brief moments, we're practicing experiencing the lower end of the arc, aren't we? We're practicing the emptiness that's always there. So no matter what's happening in my mind, what's happening in my life, no matter what the circumstances are, I can practice resting as awareness, and when I rest as awareness, that all disappears. And when I rest as awareness, there's a natural sense of well-being there, so I can smile, even at the gallows. You see? Even at the gallows, even on my deathbed, even when I don't like who's president. See, that's what this is all about. This isn't about having a better death. This is about finding out there is no death. You understand? So if you experience your true nature at the time of death, right, nothing happens. If you right now, if you go from thinking to not thinking, what's happening there? Yeah, and if you do that when you're on your deathbed, that's what will be there. If you do that on your deathbed, that's what will be there. Nothing. So the name of the game, what we're up to here, what we're practicing here, right, is understanding that even when you think you're the wave, the ocean's always there. Right? So what we want in this life, in the wave life, right, in the life, in your life as a wave, we want you to be aware of yourself as the ocean at all times. Right? And if you're aware of yourself as the ocean, what's the effect on the ocean of that which is affecting the wave? I'm talking scientifically here. What's the effect on the ocean of that which is affecting the wave? When there's the most intense weather that there can be, the most intense storm that there can be, that's causing the biggest waves and the roughest ocean that could be. I mean, the roughest waves that can be. Is the ocean disturbed? Right. So that's a perfect metaphor for what we're talking about. You know, the awareness that is the reality of what we are, from which form appears, is a constant. The form is not a constant, right? The form is not a constant. The form is always changing. It's called impermanence. The form is not a constant. So if you're identified with the form, if you're attached to the form, you get to suffer because it keeps changing. You can't get it to stop, can you? No. Take a picture of yourself in the mirror now, and 10 years later, if the body's still here, take another picture. Notice what happened. You understand? So if you experience your true nature at the time of death, right, nothing happens. If you right now, if you go from thinking to not thinking, what's happening there? Yeah, and if you do that when you're on your deathbed, that's what will be there. If you do that on your deathbed, that's what will be there.